Now, Shuri Didi, can we start the program? Maybe?
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, so, yeah. So it has been quite a busy day for the Department of Political Science because we are having marathon webinars. In the morning, we had Professor Dipankar Sinha, and in the afternoon, we have the rarest of opportunity to have Advocate Sheep Shankar Banerjee with us. He is the advocate of Supreme Court of India. It will be we will be falling short of words if we try to give a biodata of Advocate Banerjee because he is a fighter, and as a young scholar, when I was studying, I unknowingly that it was this same person. I had gone through his writings on women's rights and issues, and they were so candid and they were so informative that I used to tear the pages from those women's magazines, and still I have preserved them because I think his knowledge regarding not only women's rights, every aspect of the legal system in India is quite panoramic and quite lucid, and the way he talks, he interacts with the students and with us is I think by far the normal standards. And today he will be talking about democratic awareness, democratic awareness through legal literacy. It's very interesting to know, or rather to note, what is legal literacy and what is democratic awareness. What is that we have to be made aware of in a democracy? Because if we look at the democracy index, which is readily available on the net, we will find that there are full democracies, there are flawed democracies, there are hybrid regimes, and there are also authoritarian regimes. But if we further go, we will find that there are transitional democracies, there are new democracies, that there are near democracies. So there are variety of democracies, because you cannot call, there are all democracies. You cannot club all democracies under one umbrella, because the presence and absence of certain criteria, certain parameters lead to the classification of democracies into so many kinds. And this presence and absence of these parameters, out of them, the most important are the rights, freedom, and the absence of restraint, which are very vital and make an expression of opinion. These are very vital, which make the democracy work. So, but in most cases, we are very unaware of our rights, our freedoms, which are guaranteed to us through the constitutions, through several statutes, through laws. We are really unaware of it. And so there is, despite the fact that we study political science, we teach political science, it is very pertinent for every student, whether it's a boy or it's a girl, to know about the functioning of the democracies, because ultimately at the end of the day, law speaks, and you have to be aware of this law. And that is why we have brought in Dr. Advocate Sheep Shankar Banerjee to give you the idea about legal literacy, making you aware about your democratic rights, what you ought to do, what you ought not to do, where to go, how to go, and what are the judicial working that we have in India. And no other person will be in a better place to explain all these nitty-gritties of legal literacy other than Advocate Sheep Shankar Banerjee. I now request our head of the department, Dr. Shuriti Roy, to give a welcome address and welcome our guests, our faculties, our IQSC coordinator, and let us begin the seminar. But, ma'am,
Unmute.
please you give your welcome address now.
A very warm welcome to all distinguished guests and participants of today's seminar. It is an honor for me to welcome Advocate Shiv Shankar Banerjee on behalf of the Department of Political Science, Lady Brabourne College. We are privileged to have such a distinguished and eminent speaker among us today at our webinar. And I'm sure this webinar will benefit us with a view of enriching our knowledge in the field of legal literacy. Thank you, sir, for giving us your valuable time in this pandemic situation. Thank you.
And you will must be aware, because from the flyer, that this seminar, this webinar, we are used to the word seminar, but this is a new normal time that we are living in. So it's webinar. This webinar is being organized in collaboration with the IQAC cell of Lady Brabourne College. And I call upon Dr. Indrani Chaudhuri Dutt, the coordinator of IQAC cell, to give a brief idea about what is IQAC, and also talk about the relevance of such legal literacy programs for the students of this time. Ma'am. Hello, Indranidhi. Hello, Indranidhi. Hello, Indranidhi. Hello, Indranidhi. Yes, Indranidhi.
Shall I call her up?
She is trying her level best.
I think
Hello,
there's a network problem.
we will work it out, Shuritidi. She's trying her level best. I can see her. Her camera is on. Indranidhi, please, your views about the relevance of such webinars on legal literacy and what the IQAC cell stands for. Hello, Richa, can you do something? Can you connect to Indranidhi somehow and tell her? She was perfectly audible. Hello, Indranidhi. Uh-huh. Hello, Indranidhi. Network problem. Shuritidi.
আমি কল করছি ওনাকে।
হ্যাঁ, আমরা যদি প্রসিড করে উনি যদি
হ্যাঁ, এসে বলবেন।
বলেন। হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ,
ঠিক আছে।
হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ। হুম, হুম, মোবাইলেও? Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Indranidhi, for your encouraging words, and thanks to the IQSC team to team up with us so that we could organize this seminar. Now, I request Advocate Shiv Shankar Banerjee to illuminate us with his panoramic knowledge regarding the legal literacy. Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Good evening, everybody. And it is my privilege. I feel honored whenever I am called by your institution. It is not only the honor to me, rather it is honor to a society at large, by which you send a message to the society as well. What is required, what is to be done in the present context of democracy and legal awareness. I must congratulate the department, and I must say the torchbearer of the department for choosing such a lovely topic, which is even not very discussed in different fora where it is even required. In fact, even in parliament, we give least time to discuss about women empowerment. Anyway, today I am going to just have an interaction with you, and I will be not giving any lecture today on the topic as such. I read the topic, then I felt the topic, and then I decided to speak my heart on the topic. It's not a very systematic lecture. It's not a very systematic way of delivering thing. So I don't know how much you will be benefited, but I am going to be benefited surely utilizing this opportunity wherein I can express my heart on the topic which is very well selected by your department. Now, there are two parts of it. One is democracy, other was is the legal literacy or the legal awareness. Let's talk about a temple or a mosque or a church. Nothing is constructed. If you go to a temple, if you go to a mosque, if you go to a masjid, if you go to a church, you will find everything is, say, around few feet above the ground level. It's a construction. I mean, even in the ground floor house of yours, is you have to come up with few steps. So there, if we see that temple, mosque, masjid, church as a democracy, so there is something which lead you to the democracy. That stairs of life is legal awareness. This is what I feel. To reach a temple, to reach a church, you have to climb a few steps. So you must know how to climb up. Or if it is an infant, then he or she must be taken into lap of someone. That means someone is helping you to overcome that steps. Same here. You should have your legal awareness or someone should have it. For my audience who are before me today, they are quite aware. But then why I'm talking to a person who is already aware of their right? I am talking to a person who is already aware of his or her right to convey this awareness further to the person who is not aware of their right. That means every citizens, first we say citizen, or every human being staying within the territory of my country is having some duty and having some responsibility and having some rights. Before we talk about anything democracy, we first must say a democratic system, the very fundamental part of a democratic system is recognition of someone's right. Why we go to a voting system? That means I have a right to express my feeling or right to express my intention, whom I want to nominate to speak on my behalf. So moment everywhere we talk about a right, which I am going to exercise, has to be exercised in a different way, has to be exercised in a systematic way. Now, if I say that I want to nominate someone for my legislative member or my parliamentarian, then if I say I will keep on nominating everyone every 3 years, Dr. Rai will say I will nominate everyone in every 4 years. Dr. Ghosh will say I will nominate everyone in every 2 years. No. That's not possible. Then we have to uniformize the entire thing. We have to make a uniform platform. So we have brought in a law, People's Representation Act. Now, I will say that, yes, I have a right. I have a right to visit every place, everywhere. So I will visit some place which is also being visited by the parliamentarians. I'm a citizen of India. I can go any place, anywhere, wherever I like. So today I'm thinking that I will go to parliament and I will sit there for a while. That's my national property. If I can go to a national park, if I can go to a national archaeological site, If I can go to Taj Mahal, then I can go to Parliament also. There, a law comes in and makes a distinction that no, Mr. Banerjee, you cannot go there for a while unless you are given permission. And in other side, which is another national property, you can go. So this systematic division is the law. Whenever in a society we try to uniform or you want to make a code of conduct, everywhere there is a code of conduct. Some we say as law, some we say is a bylaws, sometimes we say it's a system we follow. Therefore, the very relation between the democracy and the legal awareness is the very democracy means recognition of your right in a different democratic system in a different way. I may be wrong, but still I will say one statement. Even in a non-democratic system, in a monarchy, there is also a rule set by someone. That I will allow you to do this, I will not allow you to do this. So when I have allowed you to do something and you are again not allowed by another person, then you can come back to me and complain, sir, you allowed me this, but your subordinate is not allowing this, so my right is harmed. So the very right of an individual, of a society, of a country is connected with the term democracy. Therefore, to understand the democracy, to know the democracy and to enjoy the fruits of democracy, I must have a legal awareness. Because democracy is something not which is hanging in some shop or in a mall where I can go and fetch some portion of my democracy, right? Then how the democratic rights I have or the fruits of democracy will reach to me? What is the bridge between my enjoyment and established democracy? I am a citizen. I live in a democratic country. Then how do I enjoy my democratic right? Is governed by law. To enjoy the fruit of democracy, I have to have my law. So if those laws are not known to me, then I will even don't know, I will not realize where I have been deprived. Today we talk about empowerment of female, empowerment of women, we talk about seminars, but the very right is given in the constitution when the country was formed, that is in 1950s, Article 14, fundamental rights. But we choose not to educate female, or I will not say the woman. I choose not to educate a particular class so that they can claim their democratic right. When the constitution came into force, we all knew that female and male are equal. There is no difference on basis of the caste, creed, gender, whatever. So I just wonder myself, I am asking this question to myself. If I knew that there is no discrimination between two genders, then why I had to wait for such a long time till 1956 and even in the recent days to understand that the right of inheritance for a male child and a female child is same? It was there in the constitution that the genders are same. There should not be any discrimination in gender. If the constitution recognized my right of as a gender, there is no difference. Now when I am going to inherit from my father, then why there was a difference between a female and a male descendant? Why? Ultimately, we had to brought a separate law for that. So basically, the right which was there in the constitution was not known to many of us. So on the basis of that right, then a legislation is formed. And when a legislation is made, then this is made available to the society for a particular reasons. On basis of that, the lawyers start fighting. But then who will come to the lawyer? Lawyer knows a law, he can interpret the law, but then to claim someone's right, that female or that male or whatever it may be, he has to reach to the priest of the temple. If I compare a lawyer as a priest of the temple, justice is equivalent to a god, and then he is the priest who can do on your behalf certain jobs, certain formalities. So to reach to the priest even, a man should have an intention to reach to the temple. So similarly, unless you are aware of your right, where you are deprived and even you don't know you are deprived, you will never make any shout, you will never make any noise, you will never go to a lawyer, you will never file a case, and you will never get your rights. So then we come back to the very same point that whatever may be the rights available, whatever may be the nice piece of legislation we have a good legislation intent, we might have a good set of law enacted by the parliament, we have a constitution, but it actually has to roll down to the society. Who are claiming their right, they should know that I have a right. He or she need not to know the intricacy of it. He or she should not to know the provisions of law or the judgments on it. But he or she at least should know what is my right. I am sure if today I ask 30% of the rural population that do you know that if your husband is not looking after you, you are entitled to certain maintenance? Very few will say yes. If I say to a rural woman or a destitute woman that you have a right to something, even if you are not married, but if you have stayed with a man, then you have a right of maintenance from that man. I'm sure the lady will say, never possible, I was not married with the man. But there is another piece of legislation which is called Domestic Violence Protection Act. So previously it was there that you have, unless you are married, you cannot claim maintenance. But here, if you have stayed with a man, you have shared the roof, then you can claim your maintenance. So this right, the basic of an enactment, must be known to the person concerned. Now, another facet of it, should these rights only be known to a particular section? In few cases female, in few cases male? No. Even a child has his rights. Now, if the society is not adequately educated or made aware of the right, they will never ever will try to claim that right. Now, so far I was talking about inter vivos or right between two persons when I can claim a right from someone or my personal right against someone. Like I have a right to stay at my home. No one can stop me entering my home. It's my home, my house. Now, apart from that, there are certain legislation which talks about, which recognize the social right of a cluster of people. Now, who will be aware of this? Like today we talk about midday meal. Today we talk about holistic development of the children. So there is a child right. Every child has a right to a good shelter, good food, and a good environment. Means every developed area should have a park where a child can play. So now this right is of course not being understood by a 5 years old child. Then an adult of his family of or her family need to understand this, need to be aware of this right. And if they don't have that, then only it can be implemented through law. Now, if I say that I know that the right to education is a fundamental right, so government offices, government institutions are there which will arrange a education facility for my child. Suppose my child is 6 years old, he or she will not understand her right. I need to understand that right and I have to pass on that right to him. Therefore, to achieve that democratic system or the flair of the democracy, we have to have an awareness. Awareness should not remain in a particular society or strata. It should percolate to the society as a whole, and it should reach to the last man of the society. And then only we can understand the fruit of democracy. Sometimes I wonder that all the political parties are asking good for me. They all are fighting for me. I mean, I take me means the countrymen we are. They all say that if I come, I will do good for you. If all they say, if I come, I will do that good for you. So who will do good, who will not do good, that's a separate aspect. We have so far not considered that what are the common benefits we are entitled to and the government has given me or not. Be that central, be that state, or be that local bodies. Are we aware? I put this question to myself. Forget about municipal laws. Even we few people who lives at Calcutta, there is a law called Calcutta Corporation. Now in the Calcutta Corporation, what are the benefits I am going to get? Be that a street light, be that a footpath, be that encroachment of footpath, what is the law relates to it? I am not aware. But there is a municipal election. There is a corporation election. So unless I educate myself what I want, what should I get, what is my entitlement, and then only I can judge the man whom I nominated last time has actually done something for my entitlement or not. And then only I will take a call or I will decide whom to vote, whom not to vote. That means why I have taken this particular thing. There are two aspects of it. First aspect is even to exercise the very fundamental right of my democratic part or my democratic right, that is for voting right, I need to be aware of a local law which provides me certain facility And on basis of that facility, I will adjudicate my mind. I will take a judicious decision whom to vote, whom to send, whom not to send. Instead of that, what we do generally, I'm not talking about everyone. Either we go by whims and fancies, or I go my political alienation to someone, or I go whom I like. But I'm sure the day my countrymen will start taking decision that this was my municipal right, whether the municipality has been able to given me that rights, whether my representative has fought for my right. If yes, and if he succeed in his fight, I will again send him. If he not succeeded, then I will try to understand why not, and then I will try to supplement him or substitute him, either of the two. But no, we don't go there. So that's the reason why I'm saying this legal awareness, unless it comes naturally to you, someone should start thinking about the legal awareness as it naturally comes to you. Whenever, not very intentionally, whenever, suppose you have not gone out for morning walk. You don't go out for a morning walk. Suppose you have gone in the morning to pick up something or to drop someone, and you are somehow traveling by a lane where it is full of greens. You try to breathe more. Why? Because you know naturally that in the morning it's better to breathe. You try to take the fresh air. It comes automatically in your mind. So the awareness should come to your mind in that way. You should not give your effort to know it. We have to make an endeavor to educate my society, not in legal terminology. There is a two different aspect. Legal awareness is much differ from the legal education. I'm not asking that you have to make everyone legally educated on the subject. Legal awareness. And this is the duty is casted upon two persons. One who is already legally aware or have some awareness about legal factors, and those who are not aware but have a desire to be aware. So basically, very basic factor of it, every aspect, I have some duty, responsibility, as well as I have some rights. I must know my rights. I must see whether someone is fighting for my right. And if it is yes, then I will go in that part. And the second part is, moment I am aware of my right, because of my awareness, I got the fruit of the democracy. Automatically, the man next to me will ask, how it happened? I said, because of this is happened. Immediately, the awareness pass on to him with regard to that fact. Let's take an example. I am poor, my next door neighbor is very poor. But suppose I am aware that my child has got a right of free education. So to exercise that right, I have reached to my municipal school. I have reached to my next local body, and I have arranged my admission to whatever class it is. The next day, when my child will go out of my house with his school uniform, my next door neighbor will be aware that this is the right available to my society. So it is, we can grow literally in a geometric progression. So we have to pass on to few. The effect on the few will bring the others into the loop. So the legal awareness is a factor which need to be there in everyone's mind, and everyone's mind should be that open to accept the things. It's not like we are not being aware. Like few days back, there was a system that police can come, can call you and can take you to custody. Even you don't know that you have gone to the custody, for what reasons, for why they could do it. What do you say? That time there was no law that someone should not take into custody without due proper cause. No, there was law, but the awareness was not there. Now what happened? There was a famous case, D.K. Basu versus State of West Bengal. So there the court said, no, you have the right. You have the right that no one should taken into custody without knowing for what he is taken. No one should taken into the custody without being he produced within 24 hours to the nearest magistrate. A formal copy of the FIR should be handed over. Arrest memo to be prepared. A memo should be prepared that why I am arrested, under which case connection I am arrested, and someone has taken custody of me. Court said this. Now, what court said, on basis of what the court has pronounced this judgment? So the law was there. It was only the court who interpreted and made it more lucid for the society to understand it. So if we see from the angle of the court, then it is when there is a complicated issue, then court interprets it, either by way of a public interest litigation or by way of general litigation. Court gives a rule. But what about the issues which are not in the court and it will never go to the court? Then we need this fertile human brain, those who are from the upper caste or upper society. Caste doesn't mean the caste. Caste means financial educational strata, which I was indicating to. So the strata of the society who are intellectually a class should interpret this awareness and should pass on to the class who are not aware of the situation. So unless this is taken to the grassroots of the society, the word democracy will remain in the book and it will remain as a concept in the society. It will remain as a concept in the society, but it will never come to the rescue of the people who need it most. Why I said the need it most? Even in an autocratic society, few people are happy. Even the king and his family is happy. So everywhere, few people are happy always. The persons who are benefited with the thing are happy. Similarly, if here the democracy is in a concept and in a book, not in practice here, then again few people are happy. So it's a fight between two class of people, those who are happy with the name and the concept, and those who actually want to implement the democratic right. The democracy on the democratic right. So to get this democratic right or a proper democracy, the legal awareness is required. Unless there is a legal awareness, we cannot achieve that democracy. And if we can't achieve that democracy, then again few people are happy. They are taking advantage of both the two sides. Nomination, yes. Voting right, yes. They are educated. Few people are educating me that I have a voting right, no vote of mine should be vested. But no one is educating me ever that what are the rights I have under municipal law or under other general law. That education and awareness is not being. In fact, what I personally feel, I won't be able to share it is in many form, but then it's my personal, absolutely my personal opinion. We have a different sectors like health sector, insurance sector, social empowerment section. So what I want is every sector, like health sector, few laws are there in respect of the health sector. They should present it to the society. See, this is the health sector related legal awareness. You should have this. See, these are your legal awareness. It's a proper display, not in a display board. It's a display in the society. So, similarly, the social empowerment department will say, these are the social laws we have, like child rights, like woman's right. These are the right of educations. These are the rights we have in my sector. From education sector, they will say, see, right to education is this, right of this is this. These are the awareness we have. Similarly, the lawyers, the legal community will say, yes, there is another right, what is called Legal Aid Act. There is a West Bengal Legal Aid Society. If someone is not getting adequate legal assistance, or sometimes many lawyers are very costly, they charge very high fees. In that case, the legal authority is there, legal aid authority that is there in every district, that is there in every subdivision, that is there in High Court, that is there in Supreme Court. So a man or a female or a male, whoever it is, he should aware of his legal right. He should aware of their substantive right. Like I am aware that I cannot be deprived of my right. Suppose I have a land, someone is taking away land forcefully from me. I am poor. I can't fight with the promoter to save my land. Then I have a remedy, law. And to give me that legal protection, the state is duty bound. And for that, state has got legal aid authority. So state has a uniform structure. They have their own lawyers. You don't have to pay a single rupee. And trust me, the legal aid society nowadays maintaining panel of best lawyers of the society. So I have to be first aware I have to be aware that I can avail of the legal proceedings. If I am not aware, then how can I make aware to someone who is below me in the societal status? Now, if that awareness is not given to that poor gentleman,